Okay, so this one's a long one. From December 14th. And there's 44 parts to it. So just remember, the goal isn't to pressure anyone into anything, but simply proclaim what I've been seeing, because eventually you have to test out whether or not these gifts are real. And it's dawn now, so I feel like I feel good about this. So yeah, and then if it turns out everything is wrong, we learn something. If it turns out everything is true, we learn something awesome. And then I'll continue doing this instead of going to God and asking, what am I doing wrong? But considering Rebecca's been getting a lot of good Bible verses that say, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm having encouraging dreams that when I stopped, it was like, why are you stopping? Why are you hesitating? This other prophet I follow was giving me information like, why you stop trying? So I feel that it is still Christmas until New Year's Day. After that, it's not really Christmas season anymore. And to repeat the words, it was, you will walk and talk with Lindsey, look towards Christmas. You will walk and talk with Lindsey, look towards Christmas. So that is what I heard. That is what I'm acting on. Let's move forward. So 44 parts. This is from December 14th. I saw a ring being lifted up and looked at. And I was looking at it like a reflection of this water. So that would be so much spiritual atmosphere. It's actually water. And something kind of popped into my mind because I was like, why would she be, because I imagine Lindsey seeing this. So why would she be seeing it like that? I kind of got the idea of not Lord of the Rings, but the Zelda game franchise. So whenever Link gets an item, it goes da 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 da. And so I kind of had that mentality, especially since I have the Old Testament spiritual gift of king that would make her a queen. So you could compare her to Princess Zelda in a way. Yeah. I wrote, it was not like a mirror looking back at me, but down and then up at an angle. So I think we're passing through the looking glass now. And then I had a second dream, I had to record it on the phone. I saw 3 lines on the phone. And then I went, maybe, they were recording, the lines recording dreams into my phone. I guess it just, so I'd be able to get up. I don't know if I think I was dreaming that I was also recording, or maybe doing this process right here. Going through my recordings and then uploading them maybe. Because I feel like my dreams are starting to happen now. Because I've had dreams that are going from the future back and dreams that are going from back to the future. And I feel like everything is becoming a pinnacle moment right now. I was looking at my YouTube channels. I don't know why though. So that might be from her point of view. Looking at all the episodes maybe. Because I haven't really been looking at them. I've just been uploading things. A coworker at work, I was talking to her. It was her back was turned to me for some reason. It's interesting because I couldn't see her face towards the end. So I wonder if my coworker either misses me or wants to be a part of the ministry in the future. So I should ask her. I work a little way past the halfway point at this certain area at work. Past the bathroom. And then Lindsey, so I think I'm past the like the milestone now, because Lindsey was like pointing down the aisle. So maybe she's getting to consider marriage again, whereas I saw a video where she was sad because she thought she would meet her, what did she say? The love of her life, her other half, by Christmas. And it looks like Christmas is still technically in play. I mean, I have presents here. Christmas lights are still up. Let's see. And then down the way, if you read this out loud, it would be down the aisle. So there's a wedding theme here. And I think we're talking about how we can get like, you're talking about how we can get like work around the corner. Some reason. And then for some reason she went meow, me, meow. And I have no idea why, but I heard that. Yeah, I don't know if, I had no idea. I was talking about it, 3 words out of 7 were cat, yeah, so I think like, so it sounded like that, like meow, me, meow, me, meow. So I don't know the exact combo, but like there were 7 words and 3 of them were meow. Don't know the relevance. I imagine that's on her side of this looking glass. Maybe she just has a playful spirit that's waking up. I don't know. I saw her giving a fist bump to a coworker, and then I saw her putting like a brown purse in a box. So I think that's her potentially emotionally trusting me with her heart. Like in a purse would be like the private things of her life. And a box would be like inside this gift of a moment. A box would be where you keep things. Keep the private things of her life in this happening. I wrote a psychological compartment of love and trust. I saw a shelf, and so I think this was from her point of view, because I saw a shelf like the ones in my room, and so she's just seeing all the knickknacks, so I have stuff all over my room, and I think she saw Santa in a box. I think she understood that like inside of me is like a heart of Santa. Like I'm very much about gifts, right? Spiritual gifts, giving, joy, love, peace, patience for mankind. I try to bring goodness and delight. Also, I had a dream today where I was like returning from being kind of concerned about this whole time, and I passed through 2 rooms where there was like a Santa Claus that was a fisher, and so that's kind of like an analogy to a Christian who tries to help bring other people to Christianity. And then I saw another one that was also that. So I think that'd be like how I'm represented in God's heart. And then also Lindsey's seeing the same thing because it was twice. Also, I might have a spiritual anointing of Christmas, a sort of Christmassy spirit. I was thinking or talking to myself, there's a girl right behind me, 5 foot something, 5'2", and her hair was like all disheveled. So that could be like she's watching these now, like an observer. Cars, like on a road, cars went by me on the right while I was staring in the opposite direction of the street. So the directions were going by me on the right. I wasn't facing the right direction, or I wasn't facing the same direction. It was the other direction, and it reminded me of a street where I got pulled over by a cop in an area of town, and the first and second car goes by. Oh yeah. So this cop car goes by, this first car goes by, the second car goes by, and then this cage goes by, this big cage. And it kind of reminded me of the one like the size of a bus from the movie Thor, the 4th one, where they put the kids in the cage. And what it made me think about is, oh, 1, 2 cages. When I was watching Lindsey and she said something about cages, I flipped my discernment vision on. I was like, all right, what's going on? And I think what she didn't realize is she's not in one cage, she's in 2 cages. So she has a cage that's like bringing her spirit more umph, because if she gets the gift, she's going to be like a figure of biblical historic portions, right? And then, like, especially if she can heal people, and especially if she can heal people. So when I'm somewhere, people can pray for each other and my gift still activates in the room. So I've had people heal other people even though I'm not doing the one praying. So my thought is to bring that to a stadium. So technically, if Lindsey's performing, while she's performing, people inside the stadium and around it could heal each other. So whenever you're going to become prophetic or mighty on that level, God pulls you aside from reality and kind of separates you a little bit. You know, Moses was in the desert, Joseph was in the jail, Elijah was in the mountain, David was in the caves, etc., 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 etc. So I understood that it was something she didn't, and that's that she was in 2 cages. She was one that was perfecting her spirit and just hyper maturing it, and another one that was going to bring her to a whole new level. So she didn't understand that she was having 2 types of like problems in life, and that's what was causing a lot of the terrible, troubled terror. So the cage is going by, so I think that period of her life is either over or in motion, so that's good. A bunch of work. I think I'm not going to be at my job much longer because it's a bunch of work that's like the work is done. Evidence of the work is done is evident. Whew. The gift of tongues is merging with my gift of discernment, with my gift of knowledge, and telling me things. That was interesting. It's like my just information just popped up out of my mouth. Okay, number 10. I was talking about doubt. I think like how I had it for a second. That was interesting because that was yesterday. I had it for, I was just like, should I be doing something? Should I be praying for it? And both me and Rebecca got dreams that like, this is going into weird territory. This is powerful, but not potent. Like, and then another dream where it was like, if you keep this up, it's going to kind of fall apart and it's going to kind of break you. And I was like, okay, information received, like chill out, relax, go about your day, pray, have a good time, eat some good food. It's still the holiday season. So it's interesting because this is from December, 14th? And as I said, the dreams were like coming true now. So that one was like yesterday. Rebecca and I were talking about it. Whoa, that's cool. Because in the dream, Rebecca and I were talking about it. And as I just told you, Rebecca and I were talking about it. So the dream is lining up. Okay, and then I saw Lindsey with a bowl of cereal in her hand. And there's something red about like her hair. And she was talking about it with me. And it was interesting because I wrote, like, I can almost hear her voice and see her body language about how it compares to mine. I feel warmth about that. So I think after she's been here for a day, I might have given her the gifts. I know I talked to her about soul stitching, where it's just where you allow heaven to kind of bond you in a super duper way. That's pretty cool. But if I'm comparing body language, that might be her having the gifts as well. And I feel warmth about that. So that's cool. That's good news, because her getting the gifts will like she should already be feeling that the cages are gone, but the gifts will be like the pearl at the center of all this. Or the ring of power, you could say, going back to the ring thing. There's a bunch of boxes from work. They're lined up, and I was going them, cutting them. So I was opening them. So that would make sense because in the dream where I saw 7 days of Christmas, I saw 7 presents. So I bought her 1 gift for 7 days. But since that starts on Christmas, if I see her today or tomorrow or the next day, I'll be like, we're so many days past Christmas, so you can open 4 gifts or 5 gifts. And so that's why I'd be like opening up all these gifts. Or also opening up to the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit, maybe. Cutting the code open. Yeah, that'd probably be the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Or just kind of all of it, like all the code is being cut open, seals are breaking, sort of thing. Another part of the dream, there's a big box and it secretly had a lot of stuff in it. So that would be me giving her the 9 gifts of the Holy Spirit. It was a good box and a big box. So that means that she's probably going to get the Old Testament gifts too. But we'll have to have a talk about that because those things are big. Like, you have to be willing to have the responsibility to weld those, because those are like civilization changing. Those are like the gifts Moses had and King David, like David and Goliath David. Sorry, I forgot to take more allergy meds. Christmas and the fact that I had quite a few presents and then a special box. So when she gets spiritual gifts, it'll be more than she anticipated merrily. So yeah, I imagine she'd want them. The way she spends 10% to pay for people's medical bills, I think she'd be delighted to have the different gifts, one of which includes healing. So this hand came up from behind me. It was also almost kind of creepy, and then it ran up the back of my hair, and there was a ring around the left finger. It was like gold, and it was just a band. Okay, so that would mean bonded to me in a big way. So if it's coming up behind me and it's eerie, that means she's probably communicating spiritually from when she sees this, which should be close to now, probably within a day and a half, that she's definitely on board, is what that would mean if I'm being honest. Remember, the point isn't for me to hold back so I don't look like a fool. The point is to be as honest as possible so we learn as much as possible. So I either continue and grow, or I stop, figure out what went wrong, and then go forward. So again, I'm not trying to promote anything or discourage anything. I'm trying to be as truthful as possible. So if and when there are miracles, they are as genuine as I can make them for y'all. Because no matter what happens to Lindsey and I, if this does happen, it'll be a real treat for all of civilization, and it should bring a lot of warmth and hope to what has been an exhausting last few years in America and then, the world. And Julie Green said this would be on the news. So that's interesting. If you want to know why Julie Green always said, what'd she say? Laura Ingalls will be in the news for an unusual reason, and I've always thought about calling my future wife Laura Ingalls, because I don't know why. The stories really moved me as a man, like responsibility, how to be a helper of society, how to be honest and true. Okay, let's see. Okay, I should stop and start another video. Okay, I heard them talking about something about day shift or something, and then I saw this red seal box put in like a box they were using for the trash. And And I'm not going to say what it is because I bought this really cool gift that I'm not going to say over the internet. Maybe I should. It should be a surprise, but at the same time, that might be what the red seal in the trash is. Because I feel like this is a lot for anybody. Like, there are some... One of the major prophets I follow, Tomi Ariyomi, he's from Nigeria. He's not American, but he covers a lot of global information. And so he had the gift of knowledge. I have discernment. I can kind of see what's moving on spiritually. He has knowledge. He gets just information. And so he started dating this girl, and he was really excited. He was really happy. And she found out, like, because kind of everyone at college knew and would find him. And she's like, tell me something that you shouldn't know. And then he told her about this horrific thing that happened to her when she was younger, and she hadn't shared it, and da-da-da-da. And the girl was like, I'm not talking to you anymore, and hung up. And he's like, oh well. So I imagine, you know, if what I'm seeing in my dreams is a reflection of what's happening in real life, it's still a lot to process. So I should make it easier. And the gift will kind of represent what kind of man I am, so she knows what she's getting into. And so the seal would make sense, like, unseal it, don't keep it a secret, throw the seal away. And I can see the gift right there. And it's right there. And it has a red ribbon on it, which is kind of cool. Kind of fits what's happening. So I bought this really cool Lego house. It looks really pretty and really interesting. It's like a cabin with water, and it has these lights you can put inside, and it like lights up, and it looks really aesthetic. And I was gonna tell her I bought us a house we could build together, and I thought that was kind of romantic, like, you know, the first house, and we built it together because I'm interested in the husband and wife aspect of the relationship, not hit it and quit it, not dating around, not wait and see what happens. I'm interested in the family, marriage, life together, not dating for years. Like, I like what happened with the actor Rob Lowe. He plays Chris on... God, I'm like... It's making me nervous. This is a lot of information about me. He plays Chris on Parks and Recreation. A lot of people know him. And he proposed to one of his best friends, and she was like, my answer is yes, but... And he was like, uh-oh, what? She goes, if we're engaged, there has to be a wedding date. Otherwise, it doesn't count. And she goes, I'm not going to just wait around forever. So 2 months from now. And he's like, what? Okay, like, I proposed. Sure. And I kind of like that. When I was younger, people would often get engaged after like 3 or 6 months. And, you know, then after that, the wedding might be within 6 months or a year and a half. But it was never longer than that. So I have no expectations of waiting a long time. I actually hope to be married sooner than later, but, you know, it'd be... No, those aren't your presents. Go. Anyways. Yeah, I don't want a long engagement. I want to be married. I want a family. I want to not pretend I'm getting married. I want to be married. Let's see. I saw shelves again, going in a line, all these little things to pick up and play with. And I think that's her looking at my room again, because I just got knickknacks everywhere, art supplies. Some board games, stuff from my ministry, like marbles and pawns, just so I can gesture at things and explain things. And so I think she was just looking at all that, because it kind of like tells her what kind of person I am. I was thinking about The Matrix, and I was explaining it to my best friend at work. How it's kind of interesting. Don't eat her presents. No, you can't eat her presents. They're not cat food. So The Matrix is like being, and I also thought, and remember, The Matrix is also through the looking glass, right? Neo is Alice, and Morpheus is a Cheshire cat. And if you read the script, it actually says like Cheshire cat grin. It's like they're outside and inside at the same time. I feel like someone's putting their hands over their mouth, so it might be her. And they're just like gasping from like amazement, and then, oh, I forgot it, but it was like a girl was looking at me, talking to me, so probably talking to her from the inside of the Matrix, which means I guess we successfully connect and like soul stitch, or she's finally watching these videos. No, don't eat her presents. They're not yours. They're not food. Something, and then some sort of like court case on TV or something. I was mesmerized for a second, and then I was back to talking. I was in these plain clothes too, and I looked older. So I don't know. I tend to always wear these like nice hoodies when I'm kind of outside. So maybe she's seeing me in like day-to-day outfits. So that might be like, oh God, that might be like 2 days from now, he said casually. But I kind of feel it. 36 hours. That's a vibe. I'm not going to put a lot of stock into it. I saw a conversation. Do not eat her presents again. I saw a conversation, and I like moved my arms, like I was to say stay safe, but I think it was a no, absolutely not. And I think we're having a conversation. Not your food. That's Lindsey's Christmas gifts. And I saw a conversation because I won't have sex until I'm married, like, period. I have a lot of anointings, and I work as a teacher in ministry, and we get hit hard when we disobey. We do. No, we just talked about you not eating it. And when I like disobey heaven, when I do not do what heaven asks of me, things go bad. And also, I want to keep increasing my gifts and keep working on my gifts. So staying in alignment with heaven is important. So yeah, no sex until I'm married, of any sort, like nothing erotic, not neurotic. If you eat the presents again, I'm gonna swear you. Yeah. Okay. Me playing with this thing I use at work, where you carry work around the facility, dancing around in circles, and then the other side, the older part, and I was doing the thing David do. Oh yeah, I was going like this, which me and my friends used to do when like something, no, not your food. And it was awesome, and I lifted my head up, and I went, fuck, and I said a bad word, which I think everything finally came true, because I thought this was going to happen by Christmas, so it's been kind of like stressful. But God wanted to do things the way God wanted to do, and I'm not going to get in the way of that, because I told God repeatedly I want him to have the best, biggest, explosive ending he can possibly have, because this isn't just something for Lindsey and I. Okay, seriously, how many times are you going to try to eat her presents? It's also for the children of God, like for the you can't eat the presents. It's also for the children of God. So like the audience needs a big climactic saving grace moment, because man, everyone's heartbroken and disenfranchised lately. So I was more than willing to be put out for that. Anyways. Number 20, still have to go to 44. A baby in the corner, small, powerful lungs, screaming, a blue tiny crib, like what we have at my best friend's house. And I recognized the floor, and I was like, wait, we might take a trip to say hi to my best friend. And so we're seeing this through her eyes and that makes sense because the small crib looked closer and I'm taller, so it would have looked different. So yeah, so we probably go visit him and say hi. So we're kind of moving past what's probably going to happen in the next 36 hours, and we're looking like a day or two later. Okay, this one's weird. It was like a staff meeting with Eminem. Don't get that. And then there was like a light that got brighter and brighter and brighter. So maybe she's singing about her ring and it's like overwhelming her, because we know she wants to get married, and I definitely want to marry her. And so maybe like this is a Christmas miracle for her. And so I could see her singing about that. I hope she's singing about that. I would love for her to be elated that, like, you know, she finds me to be the Prince Charming she's dreamed about, and I would definitely love to be the Prince Charming she's dreamed about. Oh man, okay. I didn't look up the Bible verse, but in case you're wondering if this is biblical, there was a time, I believe it was Elijah. It might have been Elisha. Elisha, like, got Elijah's gift. He, like, followed Elijah. A man asked for soil, to buy soil so he could worship God on it. And Elijah said, no, because you just have to worship God. You don't need the soil. But one of his servants was like, oh, we need this money, have some soil. And so he took some and then took a bunch of money, which was wrong. And then the servant was like, how did you know? And Elijah told him, like, my spirit was flying over and I saw. So this is not unbiblical to have these. I'm probably just one of the few people who asked God to do it and give me like a fable fairy tale ending. And then, you know, when he was talking, you know, if you could marry anyone in the world, who would it be? And I said, well, I want to marry someone like a princess, because that was a joke from the movie The Kingsman. And, you know, I've always wanted to kiss a princess. And when he said, if you could marry anyone in the world, who would it be? Who would you choose? I thought actors kind of wear the writer's imagination. Athletes are great, but I really want to be with someone who produces joy and produces production and like has ideas and is creative. And I was like, you know what? Her. And I pointed at Lindsey. Watching Lindsey tell the guy. Oh, I already talked about that. When her friend got irritated and he said, voice, I want to hear a voice. Number 23. Before Lindsey, one of the reasons, I think it was supposed to be, this is for Lindsey. One of the reasons God let you wait so long to know it was me was because, first of all, you were touring and this probably would have distracted you a lot from the joy you were trying to deliver to all of your followers. And two, it helps you train. Like, once you meet, you're not going to be able to be trained this hard anymore. So every second sitting in that misery makes you stronger and more powerful and protects the lives and hearts of others and brings them true cheer. And I had to explain that to Rebecca too, is like, so for me, I was in two cages also. I use the term prisons. One was, a problem jail and one was poverty prison. So no matter what I did, I could not get money. It would like just kind of slip through my fingers. And then 2, I couldn't, like there'd always be a problem in front of me. Like if I tried to do art, if I tried to write, there'd always be like a problem and then another problem and then another problem and then another problem. And if I ever lost my temper, just like things would fall apart. So I learned to be very patient and have good personality. And one of the prophets, Joe Dawson, said, what did he say? Poverty is an important thing that God will put on certain people because it teaches you how to be very resourceful with money. So when he puts money into your life, you do amazing things with it. And so I'm not upset about that, but it was a headache a lot. Okay, 24. God, there's 20 more of these. There's a part of Lindsey that's in despair and she's trying to fix it, but it's not her. It's a new piece of her that she hasn't thought to install. She thinks she's complete, but she's getting a bigger, more badass engine installed, like where her chest would be, and she's fighting it because she's trying to do her best, but sometimes we are so epic, we are unfathomable to what we expect and what we want. And this happens a lot to people who God is moving into tremendous ways, is we are doing things so incredible that we haven't fathomed it. And so we think everything is broken because nothing's working, but you're going to do so much for nations and for continents that you have to accept this future version of yourself. And when you do, when you realize the machinations of your soul and chest, chest would be like your umph and your determination and your production and productability is so powerful. And autonomy you grasp that and acknowledge it, then everything's easy. Nobody expects to have the engine of an Autobot of a freaking Optimus Prime in their chest, and hers would be 18 times bigger than that. So that's the headache that's been back and forth is God's trying to do something on scale exponential, and she's thinking here, and she doesn't think small, but she's thinking small compared to what God is going to bam, punch into reality. I feel like I should take a break. 25. So someone, it might be been me, round glasses. Oh, this is a coworker that I was praying about. I thought she might want to work in ministry. And then I realized the girl I had in my dream the night before was her who I saw the next day. Because I was so confused. I was like, who is this girl with these big glasses? So I need to remember to ask her if she wants to work with me in the future. 26. Turning down the stairs to the first floor. Okay, so I saw my friend kept bringing him down to the first floor, and I realized what that was. It was a reminder to me from my friend, who's also Christian, not to fool around. Nothing erotic until marriage. Need to remember that, because I need to help Earth having fun. And so I have to be a diligent Christian, not a Christian that does what he wants when there's something he wants to do. Okay. And then 27, I heard my roommate go, oh, shit. So I think we finally get a call from her or something. And we're going to pick her up from the airport. Because remember, I did have a dream where she landed at, I think it was Austin. It looked like Austin. Yeah, it's definitely Austin. So she lands at Austin. And let's see, 26. Oh. Anyone playing? Oh, I remember Heaven showing me the movie The Greatest Game Ever Played. And so I think that's how Heaven was talking about this, because I stayed very focused. I didn't fall to temptation. I didn't pursue anyone else. I was very diligent. I was like, nope, this is where God's going. This is what we're going to do. Definitely make sure I don't trip over pornography. Like, I was, oh my God, like the steps I put into place. So yeah. Because yeah, I wanted to play this out and be committed to it. Driving on a freeway. Oh, and all this callousness was coming out of my foot. And so I think just like all the callousness in my heart is leaving, and I'm just relaxing and admitting that I finally might have the princess I've been waiting for. If you try to eat her presents again, I will squirt you. Just so you know. With a spray bottle. Yeah, a lot of callousness. And this was weird. There's two Frenchmen, and they pulled out a nice burger, a stack of burger. And they had two little teacups, and he goes, "Gentlemen, I saved this for special moments such as this." And he pulled out of nowhere a little flask using some alcohol. There's couples outside were like kissing. And I said, I guess it was the season. Maybe congratulating myself, like finally made it. And then another part, feel above. So this looks like, I don't know, do we elope? Because the alcohol would be like a significant ceremony. Oh, that's a conversation to have. Oh, and then the next part, I'm trying to see if I can say this one. It's another one that says, she's for eloping. I'll put that down, I'll say that. And then we'll say, we discover I have a panache for romantic times. We'll say that. Yeah. I really cool and taller like they give me credit for. I was seeing, oh yeah, so I think I see me pick her up from the airport. And I was taller than she gave me credit for. So she's like seeing me from a distance, like walk up to her. Taller than I gave myself credit for. I was looking down the aisle at work, and there was no work. Yeah, there's no more work. And also an aisle, so we're going back to weddings. So that's a good theme to be encroaching upon. Because I'd be open to eloping, but I'd still want a ceremony later. I feel like pretty girls and princesses deserve their ceremony. There's two people at work. We're moving work right and left, working together. So I think we're like on the same page, because it was like I was pushing work and then she was pushing it back, and there's like a line between us. So I think we were communicating or planning, or I was working on work and she was working on her work. Like it was very easy for us to do both of our jobs without getting in each other's way. So that's a very good sign, because I don't want to inhibit her. And also my pastor said something interesting that got me on this trek 25 years ago. He said, it'll be like a roller coaster and an oasis. So, because I think Lindsey's like touring, right? And then I'm going to have times where I need to like set down at a base of operations for a moment, heal people, run some things, touch in with this sort of Christian ministry company I'm trying to build, and then back to touring, and then back to base, and then back to touring. And that'd be fine. I have no problem with that sort of life. So walking down conference, bathroom on the first floor. There's a place where we put our our boxes. There's a girl in a brown coat. She looked distraught. She was thinking and pacing and moving back and forth. There was someone behind her, like a dark figure, two-dimensional, like a kind of wall in the corner. So I think if I'm reading this right, things are getting more complex now. So it's like I'm looking over her shoulder, right? So right now she's pacing. She's probably wearing a brown coat. And so it feels like I'm looking over her shoulder, and she has to think about this because this is all happening really fast. And actually the other prophet said, oh, he said it last week, it's time to plan and to act quickly. So maybe he was talking for her. It's going to happen really fast, where all of a sudden things are going to get very fast, and you're going to have to decide and plan very fast. And so probably to both of us, but I think it also applies to Lindsey. So she's getting prophecies from Rebecca, from my pastor 25 years ago, from one of my parents, from, who was the other one for? My other parent, and from, I think my roommate had one too, I don't remember. But there's a lot. Oh, and then from Joe Dawson and from Julie Green. So there's like 7 of us, 6 of us having prophecies about her. And remember, this is all consensual. Like, I'm not trying to push anything on it. I just have to proclaim it because I need to know if I'm wrong. And if I'm not wrong, I want God's will to be done, and I really want a fairy tale ending, and I assume she does too. All right, need to start another video. Let's see, I saw the lights. I think that's how oh yeah. So this is from December 14th, so I hadn't decorated my room yet, and I had this idea, but what was interesting is she was seeing it. So I was seeing what it looked like before I had done it. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And so I did this cool decoration because I like production. I like creating things, and I did this really cool thing with some lights and some butterflies. And let's see, there's a lot of color. And so it was interesting to see my room from not my point of view, but from her point of view, and to seeing how she appreciated it. I actually remember her saying, I remember her like taking a moment to take it in, and she was saying, he made this for me. And I liked that she took a moment to understand that, is I made this for her, not because I wanted to like sleep with her, because I wanted to make her my wife. And I think that's significant, because I want everything life has to offer with this woman, not just a thrill. I think that's the best way I can say it. What color? It was me looking at my room. 36. I think she was gonna go with, oh, maybe that was it. I think she was gonna go with, sure, oh, maybe that was it. Dalton and I are getting ready, gave the details together. So I think we're going to pick her up from the airport. 37, not reading a book. I can ask a bunch of dudes, and there's a chick. And I think he was saying it was a great idea. So I guess it was me coming back from the future to tell myself it was a great idea. I don't know. Maybe that's on her side. I can ask a bunch of dudes, and there's a chick, and I think he was saying it's a great idea. So maybe there's people where you are right now, Lindsey. Saw stores of food and supplies. Oh, it's her seeing my room again, so I guess she stays here for a few days. Because this is like the third dream I've had with her seeing my room. Fourth. A little bird that was smushed on the ground. That was really weird. I need to make sure I'm praying about my daughter and the other adopted kid we theoretically adopt. And this was another one. This had nothing to do with us. This was my buddy's son when he's older. I think he asked for the gifts because I saw him. Let's see, looking down, and the next one. Yeah, so just my friend's son, I think, asked for the gift in the future, and he was a little nervous about getting them and using them. Looking down, it was like an audience of the main performer who was wearing a dark outfit, but he had this like red turban on, like the kind the snake charmers wear, and it was bright red, like a rich red. I don't know that one at all. Time to celebrate? Like there's a performer? Like there'll be a performance? Like there'll be snake charmer. But it was just a red turban. Colorful character? What's with the red? Wrapped in the blood of Jesus? A man who is cunning. Maybe that's how she sees me. A man who's cunning, wrapped in charisma, but also the blood of Jesus, because the bandages, right? Huh. I don't know about that one. My friend at work leading me to a place, then pointing with her left hand and saying, like, this way. But also in my dream, I said it felt like she was saying lift off, and I kind of feel like I'm a spiritual rocket ship. So like it's time to go, like this is it, lift off. And then we're at this like middle part of the facility, and so I think we're crossing over to the other side. 43, some buy your stuff, what's going on? Then watching someone on TV with like a Hawaiian shirt. This doesn't feel like a Hawaiian shirt. It looks nice, and he was talking. So I don't know if that's on her side. If someone with a Hawaiian shirt is on TV where she's at and he's talking. And there's someone else, like an older kind, like a 90s kid. Huh. Maybe that's reference to me, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. It is December 29th. And as of the 1st, it won't really be Christmas anymore. And God said, look to Christmas. So I'm going to let him do what he wants. And hopefully it'll be a super duper ending that's super duper magnificent and brings hope. I saw that it actually became like a holiday, I think. Or was that something else? No, I think that was this. Anyways, what did I call it in one of the episodes? A Lindsey Sterling Christmas story featuring Joshua Charming. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you for going on this journey with me, and we'll see what happens within the next 48-ish hours, 48, 50 hours. Whew, that was a lot.